Yeah, it's trending Tuesdays, where the culture meets the conversation. Yeah, every Tuesday we're setting the tone. Latest trends, let it be known. Voices rising, stories unfold. Thought-provoking, fresh and bold. From the mic to the movement we bring. Conversations that matter, hear wisdom sing. Insight, purpose, food for the soul. This is the place where ideas grow. It's trending Tuesday. Tune in, stay ready. Inspiration served hot, call it mostly greens. With Chef Eddie. Redefining broadcast, changing the way we speak. Real talk, real life, every single week. Yeah. Oh, organic living, mind and play, healthy conversations that elevate. From the kitchen to the culture we see, growth, wellness and authenticity. Laugh, learn and be entertained. Meaningful dialogue, never the same. If it's trending, if it's true, we're bringing it straight to you. It's trending Tuesday. Tune in, stay ready. Inspiration served hot, call it mostly greens. With Chef Eddie. Redefining podcasts, changing the way we speak. Real talk, real life, every single week. Yeah. Sponsored by Danny Davis and Katie at TC, building community. Yeah. Inspiring change.
Welcome. Hey, we're here because Kay asked us to be here today. And it is just so important that we never forget that George Floyd died. But he died because he was black and because of police brutality. And we should never forget that. It led Kay to the largest demonstrations in the history of the world. Now, that's not me. You just go put it in AI. Now, when you put it in ChatGPT, they will make reference to some farmer demonstrations in India. So some people would classify it as the second, but that was just like one event in India where you have almost 1 billion people. But when you talk about the largest demonstrations in the world all around the globe, I mean, because so many people felt as though that officer's knee was on their neck as well. And for a short moment, you really had people around the globe thinking about all of the injustices that exist on our planet. And there's usually a reaction when you have something like that. In some ways, some people could say the reaction that we have today is a result of people being sensitive to wrongs that had gone on for so long. But Kay, I always want to pay homage to you. She paid for that statue that we're going to go to. You know, you have a lot of people that I run into, the congressman, representative as well, who have bright ideas. 1 million of them with the taxpayers' money. But I haven't run across that many people willing, Congressman Alexander Green, to show up and put the money up. $100,000 to pay for that statue. And we had the event here. I think Congressman Green was here. I don't think Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee made it. Lizzie Fletcher was here. They were both on the phone. That's right. Oh, Lord, look, don't go there because the phone might ring now. Let me turn my phone off. Only I could get away with saying that. Don't y'all say that now. But it was a special occasion. Mayor Turner was here. And, you know, at the county, I'm just so proud that my staff, some of them are here, by the way, working today. We came up with a host of ideas The last funeral was here, if you recall, here in Houston, at Remus and Mia Wright's church. And I didn't want us to just take a break. We happened to have been having Commissioners Court meeting on that day. It was a Tuesday. And we were having our regular Commissioners Court meeting. We stopped to go to the funeral and then went back. But we had a host of items that we put on the agenda. We're going to talk about it later. And it took like a couple of years for some of them to come about. And even now, some people are saying, when you talk about the strides we made in this county to increase the size of the public defender, well, don't say that this was a reaction to George Floyd. You're damn right it was a reaction to George Floyd. And we ought to not be embarrassed to say that. We ought to be embarrassed that so many right-wing racists came out of the closet as soon as they could to really wipe out all of the progress we were making. Congressman Green, it was going for a while. People were really, over there in Liverpool, they pushed that man. I'd never heard of Liverpool. Pushed the man's statue in the ocean, which was a major slave trading port in England. But Kate, thank you for doing this. All of us who are here, I don't know if Floyd's family is here today. I want to pay homage to them, but thank you all for being here. Thank you for all that you do. And every year, this is the second year, every year we're going to make sure that we do something. I want to close by thanking my staff. I know we couldn't go inside because the election, they're going to have the ballot stuff, and then they always say I'm stuffing them anyway. Damn what you do. You're going to say I'm stuffing them just because you're here, But this was the place where we had it initially. But thank you to Floyd family for what you've done with the poise and dignity and class, the way you have conducted yourselves. And I'm so proud. There's a lot of art we put in. Not a single time have we had to go over there because somebody spray painted that deal. And the reverence. Sometimes I come by on my bike and there's trash laying around it, and people pick it up. They pick it up before my employees get to it. That says a lot about the appreciation we have for what Mr. Floyd's death, unfortunately, led to. So thank you, and welcome.
Okay. Thank you, Congressman Green. And thank you for coming.
Thank you, Kay. I'm so honored to be with you today, everyone. Just with a bit of levity, Rodney, you were right. They will probably say, yeah, Al Green was over there with him. Rodney went back there to the bathroom. He came out with paper in his hand. I can hear it now. But on a very, very serious note, there are seminal moments in time that impact the rest of time. 1965, Edmund Pettus Bridge, John Lewis, marching from Selma to Montgomery. That was a seminal moment in time. It was because of the suffering at the Edmund Pettus Bridge that I'm in Congress. Seminal moment in time. George Floyd, knee on his neck, the world watching. It was a seminal moment in time that has impacted the rest of time. The difference is we passed the 1965 Voting Rights Act with the aid and assistance of Lyndon Johnson, president who was the governor of Texas, but we have not passed George Floyd Justice in Policing. There is more work to be done. George Floyd Justice in Policing will eliminate chokeholds, no-knock laws, require registry so that officers can't do dastardly deeds in one place and then go to another and pick up a job and no one know. We'll also deal with the way officers are treated when it comes to civil liability. Make it easier to convict people who commit these heinous crimes. George Floyd Justice in Policing must pass the Congress of the United States of America, and I promise you, as I have sponsored it, as a co-sponsor before, I'm going to stay with it. I'm going to stay with it until we pass George Floyd Justice in Policing. Absolutely. And I thank you, Commissioner Ellis. Commissioner Ellis has changed the face of downtown Houston. Have you been to downtown Houston lately? It is not the same place. I just marvel at how one man with courage I mean, you don't do things like that just because you wake up one morning and say, well, you know what, why don't we do this? No, you have to have courage. And this is what I appreciate about this brother, the courage that he has to do some of the great things that require challenging the establishment. Anybody who says he's establishment is totally, you can't be with the establishment and do what he's done, to do what we're doing today. So would you give him an expression for me, please? And I've got to recognize the Honorable Ron Reynolds, because this man is paying $9,500, $9,500 to protect the congressional seats in the state of Texas. He is paying out of his pocket. They will not let me give him the money. He has to pay it himself, $9,500, because he left in protest of what was happening with these congressional seats, and you see what's happened as a result. So these are all seminal moments in time that we have to appreciate, and we've got to do this. Let's continue to fight, to hold back the rollback, because that's what they're trying. Thank you, everybody.
Holding back. Hold back the rollback. Ron, did you want to say say something now, or you want to? Because we're also talking now that the balloon.
I'll do it quick. So, first of all, I want to thank Kay Davis, who made this possible. It was great to be here last year for the inaugural. This is historic, and I could not thank her enough for having the vision. And as Commissioner Ellis said, having not just the idea, but making the sacrifice to go into her own pockets. I don't know many people who have done that, personally, who have done it. Even people, not counting your money, even people I know that are billionaires and millionaires. And I don't know, maybe you are too, but I mean, I don't know many people that I know are very rich that would be willing to do something so sacrificial. So your contributions are very much appreciated. Certainly Commissioner Ellis, I know that he has been very instrumental in so many things, and let's give it up for him. And Precinct 1, his staff is certainly always on the front line, and Congressman Green is definitely in the spirit of good troublemakers. And I'll say this, I wanted to say this about the George Floyd Policing Act. I know that Congressman Green and Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee fought very hard for that federal legislation and the Congressional Black Caucus, and it should have passed. I want you to know that in the state of Texas, we did pass some pieces of it, and you and your family were certainly there and instrumental. It was led by Dean Sophronia Thompson and myself. We helped champion it in Texas. And Congressman Green and Commissioner Ellis, we passed parts of it. We banned chokeholds in Texas as a result of George Floyd's, the movement. As Congressman Green said, this was a pivotal moment in history. This was some modern day of the civil rights movement, because you had young people protesting, marching in record numbers, taking it to the streets. We also passed a bill, another piece of the George Floyd bill, creating a duty for an officer to intervene in this state. That means that what we saw that heinous officer do, I won't even call his name, thankfully he was convicted with his knee on George Floyd's neck. Those other officers were just standing around. This law would create a duty for those officers to intervene and stop those type of things from continuing to happen. And Congressman Green's right. The other part that should have been passed, that hasn't got passed yet, is qualified immunity. Officers shouldn't be above the law. They should be held actually to a higher standard. But right now, because of qualified immunity, officers don't face the kind of civil liability that any one of us would have if we did something. Even a doctor, a lawyer, or accountant, any other professional, a firefighter, you name it. They don't have qualified immunity. We need to end qualified immunity for police officers. So that piece still needs to pass. And finally, I want to say this. In this 2026, when we see a rollback on all kind of protections, ending diversity, equity, and inclusion, ending voting rights, ending women's reproductive rights, and I could go on and on. We are called such a time as this to all stand up. And that is why it's important to have these gatherings on Memorial Day to reflect on where we've come and where we still need to go. George Floyd bill needs to still pass. The only way it's going to pass is if we elect the right people and put the right people in place that are going to have the conscience to do what's right. And that is why I'm hoping everyone in this room will remember to vote. We have an election tomorrow, a runoff election. Election day is tomorrow. We don't have to wait till November to vote. We need to vote now. And after this election tomorrow, we need to get everybody we can in record numbers to vote in November so that we can pass the George Floyd Policing Act on our watch. Because there are so many forces trying to take us back, erasing the progress that has been made. I guarantee you, if we continue to go in the direction we're in, they're going to reverse the piece, right, council member? The ones we did pass, they're going to reverse and repeal those things. So I hope that we'll use this time to reflect on what the George Floyd's death meant, and also use it as a reminder that we are the ones that we've been waiting on. No one's coming to save us. There's no saviors. We have to save ourselves. So thank you so much for everyone for being here. And again, I'm looking forward to Kay coming every year. I'm not making Memorial Day plans to go out of town because I want to be here to every year, to 3rd and 4th and 5th in perpetuity, as long as God has me here. Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, it's not getting warmer. It's going to 2 or 3 o'clock. So if we can, you ready? You want to say hello? You guys know Dr. Sharita. What have you?
I can say hello,
Yeah.
and we're going to speak out there as well. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Sharita McGee. I am a first cousin of George Floyd. And I just want to say while we're here, just thank you to everybody who continues to come out and support us year after year. It just means a lot to us to see that there are still people out here willing to fight along with us. And you're right, the George Floyd Policing Act does need to get passed. I'm going to do my part, and I hope that everyone else does theirs too.
All right. Okay. As we go out, make our way out, I just want you to know we did a short documentary called The Making of George, and it's running in the back here. There's a little theater or what have you area there for a few people to see. So as they come back, and we have the forum, and then we've got some entertainment. You know, we have a young woman named Abostrus. I met her yesterday. You know, they'll be here in a little bit or what have you. And we're doing that because we know we need young people voting. So we want to start pulling them in and having them here in the room, so when they hear the stuff, you know, it won't be the first time, and they'll hear it again. We have to just stay vigilant. And she'll be here performing, you know, and then of course Blaine is a comedian, and he'll say a few things, what have you. So we got a little thing, and then we got the movement, you know, for us, you know, ready, steady, you know. We've got the Crusaders movement that's going to take us on in when we get done with all the other official stuff. We can kick back and listen to Jolando and his movement.
Over there. Oh, yeah.
gonna pass this mic around, you know, and then when y'all remember from last year, when you make your statement, your release, you know, then you let the balloon go as well. And we did the balloon friendly, and then you can release it. Okay, one at a time. Okay. This is George's uncle, y'all.
I just want to, in remembrance of him as a kid and growing up, keep going. Get him right.
Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Let it
Let me just say that, you know, today is a special day for us, and it will always be a special day for us. We just want to make sure that we create a legacy that will last forever and make change that sustains.
Hello, everybody. Brandon Williams, George's nephew. I just want to thank everybody for coming out, first of all. We appreciate y'all for continuously showing up and supporting us and just standing with us. It's appreciated more than y'all know. As I reflect on today, it's been 6 years. So what I want to start by saying is what we don't remember, we repeat. And let's not keep repeating these things. To not repeat it, we must first get out and fight. And that starts with voting. We got to put people in chairs and in positions to pass laws and policies that look like us, for one, but most importantly, stand for what we stand for. And that's with us on this fight and not against us. And the only way we do that is to vote, and also get out and gather and organize and be together. Let's be one. Because a lot of races, they stay together, and for some reason, sometimes we tend not to. So the only way to protect us and save us is by us getting out and fighting. So just thank y'all again for standing with us. I know it's been 6 years, but for us, it doesn't feel like it. Every day is a constant reminder and a constant battle. So to get the love and support from y'all, it helps us a lot more than y'all know. So I appreciate y'all.
Okay. Okay. I'm next. I guess I'll start again. For those who weren't inside, my name is Dr. Cherie McGee, and I am George's first cousin. Brandon really pretty much encapsulated everything that I wanted to say, but I will just talk about voting and holding those people that we vote in accountable. You know, this question is asked of me often about what are the things, what can we do? What can we do? And I can say that one thing that every person who is of age should register and vote. And when you vote and the people you vote in don't do what they say they're going to do, then you hold them accountable, and then you vote again and get somebody else in there. It's just the one single, you don't have to be rich, you don't have to possess any particular talents or skill set. It's a gift that was given to you. Our ancestors fought for our right to vote, and so I encourage everybody to go out and exercise your right to vote. That is the one way that you can honor his legacy, by going out and exercising your right to vote and making sure we have people in who are going to support us and help us get the George Floyd Policing Act passed. So thank you once again for people who continue to support us, because you would not know how difficult it is for some days to just get up and to continue. And so when we look out and we see that other people are right there, right along with us, it just gives us the courage to just continue to keep going. Thank you so much.
I just want to thank all of you all for coming and remembering George Floyd and his legacy, and we ought to all recommit ourselves to continue to try to make a difference. Thank you, George. We'll never forget you.
gotta pass mine. I don't know if it's Dr. Shabazz or Smokey over there. Constable, Mr. Smokey. I mean,
Do it together.
I so appreciate. Y'all know these people. Y'all have to understand. It's some folk that, yes ma'am, it's some folk in the trenches. You know, and since I've been kind of doing this thing, I'm seeing the consistency. It's the same faces. Same faces. You know, when I make that phone call, same faces show up. Yeah.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I am Councilmember Carolyn Evans Shabazz, the council member for District D, what I call the District of Destination. And certainly, JY for life, right? All right, you get that, don't you, George? You get that. We love you. We love you. And I'm so very honored to be here. Certainly, voting is so very, very important. But more importantly, it's important to know who to vote for. Yes. So, you know, I tell people, and they look at me really kind of side-eye, and I say, I want you to vote, but if you ain't voting for the right one, I need you to go on and stay at home. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because we're not just trying to get anybody in any position. Right. We're trying to get people that are accountable in these positions. And so certainly I am so humbled and honored to be here. That Danette is thebomb.com.
Yes,
right?
yes.
I'm telling you, this Floyd family, we love you. I don't see my girl Latanya, but you know, me and Latanya, you know how we are. You know, I gotta get off the phone with her sometimes, but that's my girl. And I love you guys. Thank you everybody for coming, because you could have been doing something else. But certainly we want everyone to know that we will always remember the injustice. The injustice for George Floyd and for his family that's having to carry this pain.
Right.
And certainly Brandon is my brother's, my brother Bert. Y'all love Bert, don't you?
Oh, yes, we do.
Anyway, I know. Anyway, but thank you to the congressman, certainly state rep, the commissioner over there. You hot?
Yes, we hot.
Oh, no, now you can't be hot.
In Texas, come on.
You know how cool you are. And certainly my partner here, Smokey, who shows up when I need him, because HPD can't handle it all, and Smokey shows up on a regular basis. So thank you, each and every one of you. I'm just really, really full. You know, I've been moving around for a couple of weeks, but God is good, and He has brought us here, and we certainly hope that those that have perpetrated these crimes and continue to perpetrate the injustices to our people will have sleepless nights.
Yes.
So that they can understand that this is not acceptable.
That's right.
And I thank you for those that are on the forefront that are fighting to make sure that our rights are honored and restored.
Yes.
And we honor you, George, and I love you guys, and happy Memorial Day.
Same to you. All right.
What does it tell you when the same people, the same politicians show up? Commissioner Ellis, State Rep, Ron Reynolds, my sister, Shabazz, and my Congressman Al Green. What does it tell you? What does it tell you when we come in this park and we see that Commissioner Ellis has allowed such monument to be placed in this park?
Yes.
Hard work.
Yes, yes.
Let's give him a hand, y'all.
Yeah!
You know, the Lord was our light, the Lord was our salvation, so we thank God for these politicians. And we thank God for these families to endure such a tough time.
Yeah.
When this happened, I was in my office, and I couldn't believe it, that this was happening in front of America. It happened in front where we all could see it, but think if there wasn't any cameras, what would have happened? So we thank God for the cameras. We're grateful. So, as I've done all my life as a union leader, I've always committed to equality and fairness. And George Floyd will forever live in our memories and across this country. Thank you so much.
First of all, I want to thank Ms. Kay Davis for having me here. And even thinking of me, you know, she said we could use a little comedic relief and things like that throughout the evening, and I think you'd be a great host and an MC. But I stand here first as a black man.
Come on now.
You understand? And I told her on the phone that I want to take this opportunity because I know some things that were said on behalf of the comedy community at the roast of Kevin Hart that was, you know, disgusting. And, you know, there's people still dealing with this to this day. And I just want to extend the opportunity and my voice to say I apologize for the things that were said on behalf of my community that I stand with, and that his life still matters. And not only that, there's people of influence and affluence that have surrounded this event to show how far his life and what his life really meant. So I want to say rest in peace, George Floyd, dreams matter, and thank you, Ms. Kay Davis, for allowing me to be here at this event.
I said, we ready to go. Y'all ready to go? He said, yeah, we're ready to go. But I think there's some ice cream and some other stuff on the way in as we go back. We got a forum. Y'all did a lot of talking. They did. So the forum gonna be kind of short, huh? All right. Okay, we're gonna get out of this weather. We can get back inside or what have you. If you need some water and some other things like that. So if you would, we'll start making our way over.
How is everybody doing? I need to hear that again. I know it was hot. How is everybody doing? All right, my name is Dawn Paul, AKA The Dr. Dawn. I host It's No Judgment, Just Realness, and that's what we're about to have right now, okay? So we are going to have, this is a community and justice forum. And these elected officials, these leaders in our community, we're not gonna ask surface questions, like why should you vote? We know that, right? We're gonna get down to it. So I'm gonna quickly introduce our panelists. I like to stand up, y'all. I like to, that's my energy. So first, Commissioner Rodney Ellis. Clap it up for him. And then this brother is no stranger, State Rep Ron Reynolds, everybody's brother, cousin, everybody, yes. And James Douglas is not here, but Carmela Walker, Houston Area Urban League, Justice Center, yes. And Dr. Sharita McGee of the 929 Foundation. And then also family to George Floyd, Tara Brown, also of the 929 Foundation. And last but not least, Lawrence Allen Jr. He is running for Texas State Rep District 131, correct? That's right. So let's start with, you know what? I want to start with you, Dr. McGee, okay? Because some questions you all can answer, but I want to ask you this specific question. What is the report card locally and nationally when it comes to police reform?
Hello?
Yes.
Okay, yes. So the question is, what is a report card?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, we call a report card is what we do is sort of an assessment year after year, like, you know, what things have happened since 2020, what progress we made and what's rolled back. And I think we've talked, the biggest thing for us is that the George Floyd Policing Act has not passed. You know, but I would be remiss if I didn't mention that there were a lot of things that did happen immediately following, especially locally, like with, you know, the no chokeholds and stuff that happened.
Yeah.
And Representative Reynolds talked about House Bill 88, the parts of it that passed. So for us, looking back and looking at where we are right now, it does feel like a lot of things have rolled back. And it does make you feel like that the work was for not because, you know, you look at it and it doesn't look like we moved at all.
Yeah.
But I think that's a trick of the enemy.
Oh, yeah.
Because we have to be persistent and just continue the fight.
Yeah.
And move forward. So we don't have what we want just as of yet, but we can't sleep on the progress that we've made, and we have to use those things to just keep us encouraged to continue. So we're not where we want to be right now, but I feel like that there are some strides that we've made, and we just have to continue to build on them.
Yeah, yeah. And State Rep Reynolds, this question is specifically for you. You hit it on earlier in your opening comments. Let's talk about leadership in the Democratic Party. What do we need right now?
That is a great question. And I'm going to tell you, I'm so thankful to be here with some amazing panelists and certainly you all who showed up today in the crowd. We have Constable Smokey Phillips and Councilwoman Carolyn Evans, Dr. Carolyn Evans
Yes,
Shabazz.
yes.
But right now, we need real, authentic leadership that is willing to speak truth to power, that is unbossed. What do I mean by that? Is that we have a lot of people that don't have the courage to or the conviction to stand out and speak on the issues that they know they should be speaking on because they're beholden to special interest groups like AIPAC. And I don't want to call out, but there are people who are having special influence by campaign contributions that they're putting into people's hands that they can't speak on issues. I appreciate Commissioner Ellis for being on the right side of the issues, even if he has to stand alone.
Yeah.
I appreciate a lot of the people that I just named that are here. And I know Councilwoman Annetta Murray was here as well. So right now, during these tough times, we need people that are willing to make good trouble.
Yeah.
People that are willing to shake it up and fight, because even though we're in 2026 and we've had an African-American president, we haven't reached a post-racial America. In some respects, we've gone backwards because we have seen the gutting of the Voting Rights Act, which was the crown jewel of the civil rights movement. Their sacrifice is the reason why we're allowed to have these positions, because before that, with Jim Crow, we couldn't hold these positions after Reconstruction. I'm the first African-American in Fort Bend County elected state representative since Reconstruction. Imagine that. So what we need right now is people that are willing to be on the right side of history, that aren't going to go along to get along, that are willing to shake it up and make some waves, because in this MAGA climate that we find ourselves in, black people are under attack. Ending diversity, equity, and inclusion, they roll back teaching about history of slavery because of critical race theory in schools. They've implemented vouchers so that our neighborhood public schools are receiving less dollars, all while billionaires are getting subsidized, millionaires, to send their kids to private schools on our tax dollars. They're taking over our local schools. They're gutting minority and women business programs that helped, the Commissioner Ellis and others have helped to level the playing field so that people who look like us can do contracting with the local government. And I'll say this finally, Texas has more African Americans than any other state in the country. We should have more African American elected officials, not less. So we need other elected officials that are like Councilwoman Annetta Murray, that are willing to be on the front lines, that are willing to go stand on the issues. I want y'all to think about it. Constable Phillips talked about this earlier. We should have, where are the rest of the African-American elected officials?
That's right.
I'm not calling out nobody individual name because I don't want to ever shame anybody, but it's a shame that we have so many who look like us that never on the front lines. Some of y'all may know this, and I'm sorry I went long, but I got to say this final thing. Some of y'all know there's a penalty that comes with being on the front line, y'all.
Yeah.
A penalty. But I'm willing to take that penalty. Some people have seen them go after me, right? Montgomery County went after me because I've always been on the front line. I get less campaign contributions because I do it. I don't smile and laugh with Mr. Charlie, laugh when it ain't funny, scratch where it don't itch. I'm my own person.
Yeah.
And that allows me the freedom to be on the front line with Commissioner Ellis, with Bishop Dixon, with Smokey, with Congressman Green. We need more people that are willing to shake it up. Stop trying to fit in to the establishment because they giving you $2.
Yeah.
And then you can't be in your community. And we got to stop rewarding those who do that to our community. All skin folk ain't kinfolk. Everybody that look like us ain't for us. It's hard to get people to come into the hood if they're not on the ballot. You know, some people say, well, you in Fort Bend, why you over there? Because they rep ain't doing it. And they asked me to come, and I came over there. You know? So I say that in the spirit of George Floyd, we need more people that's on the front line in the streets, not just in the suites. It's easy to be in the suites with the AC and but where are you in the streets?
Yeah.
When the people need you, in the CUNY homes, in 3rd Ward, in the South Park, Acres Home, Sunnyside. Those are that's where the real work gets done, in the trenches. So yeah, we it's time to shake it up, y'all. And that's for y'all. Y'all have to hold us accountable.
Yes.
None of us hold these seats. We hold these seats at the pleasure of you all, because you all have the power to hire and fire. There are no term limits in our positions, but every election is a term limit because you can hire and fire us. Thank you.
That's good. And I was going to touch on that too. They look like us, but are they for us? They look like us, but are they for us? I should put that on a t-shirt. I don't know whose face I'd put on that, but we're not going to do that today. But no, thank you, Ron. Thank you. I want to start with you, Commissioner Ellis, and let's work our way around. I want each of you to tell us, what have you done with your office, with your position, your organizations, to push meaningful reform, but also let us know what challenges have you faced.
So I think that it's important, if you're in politics, to be effective. You got to realize that as important as it is to do demonstrations, they matter. But that's only to get the public's attention. But at some point, if you are in a policy-making position, you got to have policies that can make a difference. So when George Floyd was killed, and when we were trying to figure out what we do, I told my team, go grab everything that you can think of that we were thinking about proposing and propose it now. Just put it on the agenda. Just take, you had about 3 or 4 days. There were a number of funerals, as the family will remember, that you had to go through. Grab those items and seize this moment to get attention with it. What I found in politics is that different people have different strengths. The good Lord gave me the ability to think about policies in a sense of timing. So when I was in the legislature, Ron, when the timing was right after a hate crime, I could push to have a statute to enhance the penalty because somebody committed a hate crime. Took a decade to pass it, but every time something happened, there's always some pivotal moment that comes up, how you seize it. Now, when we finally passed it, it was after the killing of Byrd, James Byrd in East Texas. Now, I'm not sure that we would have passed it. It probably helped that I was finance chair. Had a lot of other things to do that session, Ron. That was before you got there. But I knew I had a little leverage. I couldn't use the state's budget to go and line up my votes. But if somebody was naive enough to think they were going to get more funding in their district, if they let the bill go, well, let them think it. I didn't use the state's budget, but if they thought I would, I did. So after George Floyd, what we did was decide we've been trying to increase the public defender's office. When George Floyd ended up copping a plea, turned out it was a dirty cop, and he was innocent, but he copped a plea because he had a court-appointed lawyer. And he was told, you're going to get more time if you don't take this plea. So he did it. So it was a way for us to use him as an example on that one issue. Not the broader issue on how he got killed, but use it. We decided we wanted to have a violence interruption program. Sometimes somebody has a mental health issue. And if you call out law enforcement, they're going to do what normally law enforcement would do. But maybe you needed somebody who could go in there and say, look, you need some mental health counselors to deal with this issue. And so we use George Floyd's death as a way to say, we're going to come up with a violence interruption program and a mental health responders program in Harris County. We wanted to come up with some standards on law enforcement use of force. It didn't work, but we laid it out there because on the county level, as you know, Smokey Phillips, we cannot determine what each individual constable's office could do, but we could use it to put pressure on. That one is still hanging there. You can't on the sheriff's department. My preference would be a civilian review board, but you got to go to the legislature to get authority to do that. So we came up with a host of items that we put on the agenda, and about 4 of them made it. So now Harris County has a HEART program. So you go send mental health experts in. We got a violence interruption program, so you get people from neighborhoods. But throughout my career, you know, I've found when you have an opportunity to push a policy, you do it.
Yeah.
Ron was very helpful. The county didn't have an MWBE program at the time. Now, most of that's going to go away pretty soon, the way it looks. But you have to do a disparity study. When I was on council, I forced the issue. When I went to the state senate, I forced that issue. And then here in county government, we did it. And then we decided to go even farther. We created a fund of $2 million. There are about 35 school districts in Harris County, community colleges and school districts. None of them, none had an MWE program.
Wow.
And we decided we take county money and say, we'll let you apply. If you take the money, you do the study, it shows the disparity, then you got to set up a program. Houston Community College didn't have a program, still don't have a program. Lone Star didn't have a program, still don't have a program. San Jack and Robert E. Lee, they call it Lee, but Robert E. Lee. 4 community colleges, none of them have a program. HISD had a program, stopped it many years ago. They agreed to do a disparity study and then backed out of it when the state was about to do the takeover. I think A-Leaf accepted the money. Sheldon. Now, this is before all of this anti-DEI stuff. But so here's the challenge. When you talk about a report card, a lot of groups have to make sure you hold our people accountable when they have the power, when they're in position. And I've never taken a position just because I was only one person on the Houston City Council, I couldn't make a difference. Or because I was one of 181 in the legislature, I couldn't make a difference. Or because I was the only person of color, only Democrat on Harris County Commissioners Court. Even to the extent I joined the lawsuit during a friend of the court filing on misdemeanor bail reform. You think of George Floyd. Initially, they were misdemeanors. And then once you are in the system on a misdemeanor, when a crime happens, who do you go look for? Somebody has a record. So in my career, those 700 bills that I passed in the legislature, when I went on the Houston City Council, Palm Center, you know, went out there and got the city to buy Palm Center, do something with it. Now, some of it, I think, comes from having hung around politics and watching for so long. Or even here now. You know, not this park, but a park right down the street, Detention Basin. Next Saturday, you ought to come. It's called the Hill at Sims. We took what was a stack of dirt stacked up in Sunnyside 20 years ago. Somebody told me they created this hill, Smokey, because if the Olympics came to Houston, they thought it'd be a good place to do dirt biking. Give me a joke. They gonna do dirt bike competition in the neighborhood, in my neighborhood I'm from, Sunnyside. They weren't gonna do no. They saved about $5 million by leaving the dirt there instead of having to have all those trucks to haul it out, because you could do it in low-income neighborhood. Now, we have turned that into what will be one of the most interesting parks in Houston, Harris County, because it's a 50-foot tall high hill with an observation deck. It is the highest hill you can walk up and get a panoramic view, 360 degrees, 60 degrees of downtown Houston. It opens up next Saturday morning. Canceled this Saturday because of the rain. You ought to show up. But so when you're in office, what do you do with it? Look, we're accustomed to going through tough times. You know, there have only been 2 black people in the Texas Senate at the same time in the history of the Texas Senate. Barbara Jordan was by herself. Craig Washington, Eddie Bernice Johnson, the 2 were there together. Eddie Bernice Johnson and Rodney Ellis, and then Rodney and Royce West. And now Royce West and Boris. But you do the best that you can while you got to form coalitions with folks. And with us, usually, if you're African American, you get in, the voters tend to trust you, so you get some seniority oftentimes. And you learn more as you go to be more effective. And you mentor new people, like you, my friend, which is why when I got there, Representative Reynolds, I started an internship program to bring young people in, like you, and put you in Sylvester Turner's office. I can't always remember. You had to remind me. Only about 1,000 of you now. But so take what you learn and pass it on.
That's right.
To others as well.
That's good. Now, Carmela, I want you to answer that same question, and then Lawrence, we're going to start a different question for you all.
I don't know. Can you hear me, y'all?
Yes.
Okay. What was the question?
Well, what have you done to push reform? And then what challenges have you faced with the Urban League?
There's a myriad of opportunities that I've had. Well, first, let me also say just thank you to Commissioner Ellis and Ron, House Representative Ron Reynolds, Kay Davis. Thank you so much. In community, this is just such an auspicious occasion. I also wanted to thank, of course, Judson Robinson III, Houston Area Urban League. But in this capacity that I'm in, we actually started the Center for Social Justice, Education, and Advocacy in 2022 as a result of what happened with George Floyd. And since then, we have been basically all over the place, not only tracking legislation, which as a Texas Legislative intern in 2023 at the 83rd legislative session, I learned so much from that program, especially in the EMPA program with Dr. Michael Adams. And I was able to transfer that information and all the knowledge that I had into the work that I'm doing right now. So I'm tracking legislation. I'm working with partners like Pure Justice, Houston Justice, Houston in Action. We have 40 members under that tent. Gen HTX, TCRP, which is Texas Civil Rights Project, LDF, Legal Defense Fund. And within the scope of that and tracking legislation, I think that the 11,000 bills that were filed during the 89th session was probably one of the most egregious. It was hard work. It was just hard work. We had to pull in Austin, Dallas. We're now the Urban Leagues of Texas. We're unique in that way because we have 3 affiliates in one state to deal with regional issues. But to get granular right now, it's the get out the vote effort. Yes. And that, I think, is probably the most challenging because how do you communicate to constituents that this is imperative and important and our lives are on the line? That's right. You have 191 seats that are getting ready to be annexed, right, in 10 states. So we're talking, Virginia, we're talking Florida, we're talking Georgia potentially, Tennessee, Mississippi, Louisiana right now. Our Louisiana affiliate is going through it right now just based on what's going on. So I think for me, it was the session, it was the tracking of the bills, like Betancourt's bill, SB 38, it was a squatter bill, and then it turned into, this attack on renters. We were seeing what's actually happening with the attrition within our community. So to remedy this right now, I think my concentration really is partnerships, and making the message very simple for community. Because what's happening is that community is apathetic when they're consistently hearing, let's go out and vote, go out and vote, go out and vote. But how do you make that tangible? How do you say to community, are you concerned about the fact that they're about to build 250 data centers and they're about to steal water from you? Are you concerned about food insecurities? Are you concerned about your utility bills? Are you concerned about education? Where they're eliminating the opportunities for children, and then they're changing the narrative and want to make everything privatized. So I think right now the challenge for me is I'm everywhere, right? I'm with Air Alliance, fighting on environmental justice. I'm with bail reform in the O'Donnell, position and Houston Justice and Pure Justice. So, and I'm one. But we need volunteers. We need folks out, boots on the ground. We're getting ready to canvass, text bank, knock on these 2,500 doors within the city within 4 precincts. And so I think for my position right now. The concentration that I have is making this message simple and impactful. People are on this phone, they're scrolling every 7 seconds.
Yeah.
This is dopamine. You can't even get people to concentrate or read long enough. So how do we get this message across to our constituents that it is important to back our officials, that are on the front lines? How do we do that? And so I just think at this point, it's going to take all of us. We have to tell our friends, our family, our loved ones, our elders, our young folks. We need young folks in the space, and we need to implore to our young people that we're passing the baton to you.
Yeah.
How do you need to align with us so that we can help to defend you, because we have keys.
That's good. And Carmela, she told me some other things that I can't talk about, but this sister is in the trenches. She's in the trenches. And Lawrence, I have a different question for you, and then Dr. McGee and Tara, two different questions for you. Now, you're running for office, right? Okay. Talk about what you have already done. Because for me, and I hope I didn't put you on the spot, but see,
No,
for
ma'am,
me,
you
if you're
did not.
running for office, what have you already done? I don't want to hear what you're going to do. And hopefully you're not offended by that.
Oh, no, ma'am.
Right. So tell us, Lawrence, what you have already done.
Well, first, thank you for that
Yeah.
question,
Yeah.
giving me an opportunity to express my thoughts, and certainly to the family. I wanted to speak briefly about some of the things that we've done, and as a member of the State Board of Education. I served on the State Board of Education for 18 years, and during this perilous time, I was having conversations with Representative Ron Reynolds. He wanted to bring forth a course for credit for all high school students, the African American Studies course. And we had that long dialogue. We may not think it's important, but there has to be a depository for history. We will soon forget it, and our children will not even have a thought it ever occurred. So we put our heads to the ground, and because of this, we were able to pass that measure and establish an African American Studies course in Texas. It's reviewed every 10 years, and the information that we need our students to learn needs to be placed in that course. Now, we weren't at the space where we wanted to make it a mandatory course for all students for graduation, because I shared with the representative what social studies course would we take out. And we don't want our students to be at any disadvantage going to the universities outside of our state. But we want you to know it's there. And any school that has 10 children that request to take the course must offer it.
Oh, that's good.
And so we need parents to know that. We have a pilot program now going on at Carnegie Vanguard, if you can imagine that. I served as the assistant principal at Yates and principal of Jones High School and other schools throughout the district. And so all of my focus is always how do we actually better equip the next generation. Not necessarily bringing them along, but giving them the necessary tools to do the job better when they get in those seats in the future. And so when I think about my 18 years on the State Board of Education and what we've done in the educational arena, I truly believe that we've created an army of young people who are coming to this space that are fearless.
Yeah.
Representative Reynolds said it clearly, but I want us to understand as an elected official, you cannot operate in a silo.
Yes, yes.
You cannot operate in a silo. You must be a good team member. And when you see the team fragmented, you'll recognize we will not be victorious. And so in whatever area that you're elected to serve in, you need to work hard in your lane, whether it be city council, whether it be in other areas, and recognize that there is also good leadership. And I think that Representative Reynolds was a great leader for me during that time period in expressing what was possible. Because sometimes we believe everything is possible, and we know through Christ all things are possible. But we forget there's an adversary also trying to stop that possibility. And so I think that what we will recognize every day going forward is that we will understand that what we do with our children will make the difference in the world that we live in.
Amen. That's right. Let me tell y'all something. Can I just keep it real? When candidates stuttering, you ain't ready. Thank you. You know, let's be honest. You done gave the wrong one to Mike if you think that's the kind of moderating I do. It's about accountability, so thank you. Track record. Now, Dr. McGee and Tara, this question is for you. I want to talk about the 929 Foundation. Talk about what the organization has done as far as reform, and then what can we do to help you?
Well, we've done quite a bit. Initially, much of what we were doing had to do with pushing for the legislation. So we testified when we needed to. We've done protests. We've done rallies, not just in our state, but in other states. And a lot of what we do is in partnership with other organizations who are trying to push forward the same goals that we have. Like, there's no reason to reinvent the wheel. If there's someone who's already doing it, we found it works best when we connect with them and do that as well. I have been a part of organizations like the See You at the Polls, where we help to get people registered to vote, help to get people to the polls, just any number of ways. We've done that. But, you know, organization does that. We've done things like mentorship, going to schools, talking to our youth. Just a lot of different things, but sort of repetitive. We don't change up because it doesn't need to be. Just being consistent on being present and engaged in the community, and just making sure people know that. I always say that as far as what happened with George, for us, we can never forget it, and we certainly can't have people fighting harder than we are, because the loss is a personal one for us.
Yes.
And so that's what we've done, and each year. I can't thank Kay Davis. I know we've said this over and over again, but when I met her shortly after that, we're talking about the making of George, which is the documentary that you're able to watch if you have a chance here today. We became family after that, and so she has committed. Like I say, she used her own money to purchase this statue, and she funds a lot of the activities that we do annually to make sure that George's legacy lives. So I'm grateful for that. That is a connection. Anytime she calls me, I don't care when it is or what I'm doing, I make a way to show up, because she has done that for us.
Yeah.
So that's what we've done, and what we will continue to do is show up, support those who've supported us, and to make sure that people see that we are not going to allow people to outwork us.
I know that's right. I love that. Tara, I have a different question for you, and I love how God speaks to me. Because this was family. And some of us, you're hashtagging, but is your heart in it? You're not dealing with what the family is dealing with. Talk about how we can support you, not just on the anniversary, not just when it's trending. What can we do to support 929 24/7?
So what I want to say is, we're here today because of what happened to George. And we are his family members, and yes, the murder of George is very personal to us, but it ought to be personal to everybody.
Yes.
Every black person should take it personal. And that ought to move you to want to see a change in the legislation that's going to fix this problem that we have, because there are so many others that have been murdered just like George was. You just haven't heard his name. And you haven't heard their names. You haven't seen their families. And so because of the work that we do, we're often in contact with other family members who have lost their loved ones, and they don't have the same support. So that's important for us to make sure we're out and supporting each other. And in today's climate, so many people are discouraged because they recognize that as black people, we are under attack under this climate we are in right now. So I want to say we can't be discouraged. We are a people who have been experiencing 400 years of oppression, one thing after another, from slavery to voters' rights to you name it. And we are overcomers.
Yeah.
We are overcomers. We've been through worse. So we have to take this opportunity to do what we do best, which is show up.
Yeah.
And that's what we try to do. The most important thing for us is legislation. So of course, we want to make sure that we show up for our elected officials and support them to make sure we have the right people in place who will push the agendas that will benefit us as a people.
That's good. And I don't want to be inappropriate and call people out, but it's time to stop playing around with these people who they say they're for us, but they're not for us. And I want to start with you, Carmela, and then Ron, we're going to get into it. How do we know the person we're voting for, the candidate we're voting for, has the track record? They say they're going to do it, Ron. They say they've done it. How do we really know? So it's not just about voting. Be an educated voter, right? Be an educated voter. Carmela, let's start with you, and then Ron, and then I want to hear from all of you.
Research.
How, though? What type of research?
Well, I'm going to say to you that, for an example, they had the propositions. When I went in to vote, they had the yellow paper and the propositions there, and I just watched the position of where they were placed, and then watched people just walk by. And it was astounding. You had like 12 amendments, 17 amendments, and people were just walking by them. I would actually ask folks to write down, once you've researched who you wish to vote for, write it down. You can take the paper in with you. Yeah. So you have an opportunity then to take that information and to go through, right, and choose who you want. But that research is going to take you taking a deeper dive.
Yes.
I know the League of Women Voters has, they have their paper, right, and they have all of the candidates there. But I think when it comes down to the issues that you're concerned about, remember when I was saying, is it the utilities that you're concerned about, right? Is it food insecurities that you're concerned about? Is it your environment and air quality that you're concerned about? Track those folks. Find out what they're really doing. Mm-hmm. Find out actually who backed them.
Yeah, that's
good. Do they stand for the ideals that you stand for? I mean, we have to get in. This is not a game. They are not playing checkers. They are playing chess.
That's right.
And they have at least 16 boards, and at any one time, they'll move it for war, they'll move it for racism, they'll move pieces for whatever it is they need to move pieces for in order to promote their agenda. But we have an agenda, and our agenda is to make sure that our kids are protected, that our families are protected, that our community is protected.
That's right.
And that's the bottom line. So I would implore your family and friends and loved ones, and I just keep saying it and keep repeating it, and as Ron said, nobody's coming to save us. I'm trying to tell you. Mm-hmm. This is happening. This is live and in color that this is happening to our community after all these years and after all that our ancestors have fought for. So we have to get, we say voting because it's, people hear it and it just falls out. They're not here. And vote, why should I vote? And I'll land here by saying we were, and I think it was Sabine, we were actually doing some block walking. And there was a young lady who had actually just moved out of the neighborhood that we were block walking in. And we had handed some pamphlets to folks. And so she was in the car, and I handed a pamphlet to her. And she just looked at me. She was like, I don't vote. I'm not doing that. I was like, ooh, okay. I said, so, why? And she said, because it's just not something I do. I'm not doing it anymore. There's nobody that I should vote for. And she said, I just moved out of here, actually. And I said, so why did you move out? And she said, because they weren't listening to anything I was saying. They wouldn't repair anything within the apartment. So I had to move. I said, so how do you know that they're going to do the same thing? They're not going to do the same thing in the apartment complex that you moved to if you don't stand up and say something. And so she said, oh. I said, yeah, that's why we vote. And she said, oh, give that to me. Give it to me. So I'm saying that to say that we have to have these ground level conversations, and they have to be intimate. And we have to have, whether it's one-on-one conversations or it's at the dinner table or they're focus groups, to implore that you have to do the research in order to get this information out to community and make the message simple to do that. Research.
That's good. And Ron and the rest of you, if you would briefly answer that question, and then we'll wrap up. And let me say something about that. If you don't know how to research, Councilmember Shabazz, how do I know if this person? Email her office. I guarantee she'll say, this is how you know. Ron, Urban League. If you don't know how, ask. It's all we have to do. All we have to do. Ron and the rest of you quickly
So I'll
answer.
tell you very succinctly, look at a person's track record before they run for office. Like, before I ran for office, I was president of the Missouri City NAACP. I was very involved in volunteering in the community. When I look out nowadays with AI, anybody can look like an amazing genius, right? You can dress a person up, make them look like this, but in order to know what a person is going to do, you need to look at what they've done before. Anybody can make campaign promises. It's good to see Karen Reeder, a candidate for state rep. She's NASB president. I've seen her advocating. I've seen before Carolyn Evans-Shabazz volunteer with the NAACP before she was elected, to HCC, before she was on city council. Arnetta Murray, constable, same thing. So now in this age, we got this microwave mentality with a lot of young people. They just supposed to have instant success. So many people feel entitled because they show up to an event and they feel like, well, they're ready for office. Ain't paid no trenches, ain't volunteered, ain't having no dues. So that's what I would recommend you do. Vet the people. Vet the people. Lawrence is right. He's been in the community. He served on State Board of Education. So look at a person's track record, what they've done before they ran for office. Then you can know what type of person they're likely will be when they hold public office.
Right. Very good. Quickly, the rest of you answer. And let me say this, and I'm going to say it. Before we take a selfie, let's start asking questions. Who cares about the selfie? Ask questions. Put them on the spot like I did Lawrence. If you're not ready, that should tell you right there what they're about. Anybody can show up to an event where it's scripted.
You know, I wanted to say one thing to your point, just really, really fast, and that is that during the redistricting situation, we had a roundtable speed forum with candidates, which I thought was brilliant. We actually partnered with Air Alliance to do it, and it put candidates on the spot.
That's right.
Had questions there for them, and they couldn't run; they had to rotate.
That's good.
While all of our constituents and community members sat there and grilled them over issues.
That's
so
good.
that was
Lawrence, the rest of you, and then we're going to get final comments starting with Commissioner.
Real quick.
So Lawrence, the rest of you
Real quick
answer that.
from my vantage point. Whenever you are talking about a candidate that's going to be strong on the issues for black people, or refer to them as African Americans, you got to see who their friends are. Because we operate in layers. Okay, so if you're only comfortable in the suites, you might not be good for us in the streets. And if you've only been in the streets, you may not be able to operate in the suites. And so we have to understand that there is a preparation as we go forward. And we realize that you have to prepare yourself for the position that you intend to go into. And so if you have prepared yourself, that track record is evident. I'm simply saying to you that when we have issues in our community, there are pockets in our community that come out. And if you can't stand with those members, even if it's Cornell, because he's your brother, because it might frighten somebody away from you, we got to question whether you're really for all of us. Okay, if you can't stand with the Nation of Islam or NBUF or other folks because that frightens somebody, then that political position is more important than the love that we should have for one another. And I'm not saying it's not critical to have staying power. You got to be wise. Nobody should be out here just falling on the sword because others outside of the political office don't fully understand how to get things done. I take it, I'm gonna let you have this. I've watched Commissioner Ellis. He is wise. He is wise. I've watched him for probably 30 years. But at the same time, my mother, Dr. Alma Allen, allows me to serve here today on her behalf. But at the same time, recognizing that preparation as a principle prepares you to go forward in life. So when you're looking for a candidate, it's not just their resume, it's who's the team that's coming with them.
That's good. That's
no candidate should be walking alone.
That's good.
Who walks with you?
That's good. Dr. McGee and Tara, answer that question. Please.
Yeah, I think everybody is pretty much covered. I don't think there's anything to add to that except I know that on Sunday morning, when I see those folks shuffling in there that I've never seen before, it's always interesting. Around the time for election, they all kind of show up, and you can tell because they're uncomfortable, but they're out there trying to rally up our votes. But I would say that, you just research. I'm looking at it. When I go in to vote, I have I have my list with me, and those issues, I don't want to be guessing while I'm in there. I've made sure, and so I know I can go straight down the list and take care of what I need to. And I always make sure I vote early on the first day. And I encourage people to early vote because you never know what's going to happen on that final day. So if that's any, I tell everybody in my family, I think I harass them, vote and vote early.
Yes. Tara, any comments on that?
Pretty much the same. I just, we have to serve as a voice every single day. That's a part of what we do every single day, and just reach out to the people who need it the most. Yes. Because there are some who don't vote, as she mentioned, because they don't understand what comes from their vote, what goes with that. So we have to be educators as well as supporters.
That's good. That's good. Final comments. We're going to start with you, Commissioner. Give us your 30-second to 1 minute. 30-second to 1 minute final comments.
I want to thank you all for coming. I want to say to you that we're in some challenging times. Mm-hmm. You are witnessing the end of the second Reconstruction. So after slavery, there was a Reconstruction. With the Voting Rights Act gone, and it's going to take a different playbook. And we are losing 2 black members of the United States Congress in Texas.
Wow, yeah.
We're going to probably lose Jim Clyburn. He might, when they change those lines in South Carolina, he might be able to win it, but it'll be a district probably about 10% black. With no Voting Rights Act, when they go back in session, Representative Reynolds, if it's a problem for them, I'm sure they'll reduce the number of Democrats in the Texas Senate. They could go back and reduce the number there on city council. Unless you got the clout where you drawing the lines, if you got the numbers, but then everybody's gonna be fighting it out on Commissioner's Court. I hope I'm not the last black one, but with no Voting Rights Act. I heard somebody say earlier that line about just because they look like us, they don't necessarily think like us. That's true. Don't go just vote for people because they're from your neighborhood.
That's right, that's right.
Or because you like the way they look. You know, you pick people who share your values, in my judgment.
That's right.
Now, I will admit, it took me about 30 years in politics to get to that point. It may not be the black one. Mm-hmm. May not be the brown one. Might not be the female. But you got to look at somebody's track record. But it's going to be challenging times. And oftentimes when it's challenging, we turn on each other.
Yes.
You don't just go vote for somebody because they show up at everything. Sometimes if they show up at everything, the reason they're showing up is because they ain't doing nothing.
That's right.
I want to know how much you show up in that position and what you accomplish. Whoever you are. So look, it's impressive that we'd have 50, 75 people, would show up here on Memorial Day and sit out here just burning barbecue, eating more carcinogens. You know, but let me tell you, now is going to be a time for us to be strategic, to be unified. Election day is tomorrow. When it's over with, you know, Representative Reynolds and I work out a lot together. He's trying to help an old man. You know, he remind me how old I am. I tell him it took a lot of effort to look this pretty at 72. I'm careful what I put in my body to be around here for a long time. But look, those of us who are in office, black elected officials, when the elections are over with, we got to come together. And then we got to form allies with folks that we agree with. Sometimes when I'm trying to line up my votes at Commissioner's Court, might be a strange alliance sometimes. And then I remember sometimes when I rely on somebody that you wouldn't have thought I could have relied on. Something else will come up and I'll decide, you know what? Let me give them one. And stop putting everything on social media. Yes. Sometimes when I'm meeting with people, you don't need no picture of that.
Yes.
You know, but look, it's going to be a challenging time. I just want to stress that. We need more people who are prepared.
That's right.
We got to make sure our Urban League, our NAACP, our churches, and it's not so much turning on. People show up and ask me, what can I do?
Yeah.
I flip it the other way. What can you do?
Yes, yes, yes.
Right.
Kay, I always talk about what you did. Everybody had a million ideas. To spend that $100,000 to go do that statue, And then to come back and do this every year, it's a rallying point.
Yes.
You got to be strategic with it. But oftentimes we can get caught up on little insignificant issues. You know what I mean? We arguing about, did you get me some popcorn at the movie?
Yeah.
Focus on the big issues that make a difference. But I just want to close with this. It has not been this challenging probably since the late 50s, early 60s. This is the end. And then whenever we get back in power, we got to be strategic. Don't be like these folks. You got to give it to this mean man in the White House. Every rolling stuff back every time you turn around. So we got a plan, we got a plot, we got to be creative. But the good thing is, if our ancestors survived 400 years of slavery, we're going to get through this. We will get through this, and don't forget it.
Carmela, you and the rest of you, final comments quickly. Thank you, Commissioner.
Proper preparation prevents pitiful performance.
Good.
So that means that we have to prepare. I've been talking about farming, CDL drivers, urban farmer, urban planners, folks who want to get in the game to start to strategize and kind of insulate and to build from the inside out. Because I think we're going to need that. We can't depend on the structure, it's falling. And we have to be real about the fact that it's falling. And so what are we going to do in lieu of this attrition, right? When women are, black women are losing their jobs, right? Our educational system right now is under attack. So on a myriad of levels. So we just need to educate each other. I think we need to be a little bit more insular. We need to make sure that we're in community and we're talking to folks about how we can plan and prepare.
Yeah, that's good.
I'll be quick. This is the fierce urgency of now. If you ever wonder what you would have done if you were in the civil rights movement, if you were in the 50s or 60s, well, this is it. The baton is in our hands. What are we going to do? We can't wait for the next Malcolm. We can't wait for the next Martin. We're the ones that we've been waiting for. We're the change that we want to see. If it is to be, it's up to me. It's up to us. We have to look in the mirror and say, not on our watch are we going to allow them to take us back. We know the times are tough, but history will judge us based on what we did. And where will you be on this during these tough times? I hope that all of us will be on the right side of history, making our good trouble. Thank you.
That's good.
So I have to just, say the same thing. We have to be prepared for one thing, because right now I'm recognizing that a lot of people are figuring out their exit plan. They're trying to leave. Why should we leave? We helped build this country, so we need to stand on business and do the things that we know will keep us here and help us grow.
Very good.
And I will just say, we can't get weary and well doing. We just got to keep going, keep pushing forward, stay engaged, stay involved, and be caught doing good trouble.
That's good.
I simply want to say thank you, Kay, and thank you to the moderator, and thank you to the host family and those who have gathered here today. It is always important to take a moment of remembrance. And we have an annual opportunity to reflect and think, because whenever you have a time to reflect and think, you can become a visionary. Yeah. You have to know where you've been in order to calculate where you need to go. And so I wanted to talk about the power of this moment. In the reflection in this moment gives us the catalyst and the energy. You ought to feel it right now. You feel like doing something good for the future. So whenever we take this opportunity every year to stop, it is to re-energize us for the next day. Yes. In these capacities of life, there is a level of fatigue. Yes. And so you need to be re-energized. So I want to thank you for pouring energy into me today.
We want to clap it up for our panelists, Commissioner Ellis, Alma, Ron Reynolds, everybody's brother, Lawrence, Dr. McGee, and Tara Brown. Thank you all for having me. And I'm going to pass it over. Where's our MC?
park, just sitting still. In contrast to the laughter and the smell of barbecue in the air, he was just sitting there. And now it was evening time, and I became concerned. So I did what the world told me to do. I called 911, and in my best caring voice, I said, 911, there is a suspicious looking man in the park, and he's just sitting there all day, and there's children around, and I don't know what he's about to do. Race, oh, I don't see race. Probably African American. Oh, at Tom Bass Park, near the community center. 911 paused, then silence, then the answer. Ma'am, that's George Floyd. George Floyd? Yes, Tom Bass Park hosts a life-size statue of George Floyd. He was concrete cast, but heart still beating in the rhythm of our grief. No signs point to him, no plaques waves you in. You have to feel your way to Floyd. The statue's called A Conversation with George. So I sat, I listened. With my eyes, I saw a picture of his family, his daughter, his loved ones. I saw a letter written in a boy's hand saying that he wanted to be a judge. Imagine that, George Floyd with robes flowing, dispensing justice with a gavel of grace. But instead, he got no justice, just judgment. Not from a courtroom, but from a concrete curb under a crooked cop's knee. I heard George wanted to change the world, but in my heart I heard, but the world changed him first. Then I thought of Jesus. Crowds gathered for both. One there was a cross, the other a camera. One they said crucify him, the other he can't breathe. Both nailed down, one to a tree, the other to pavement. Both died in front of a crowd that watched, that recorded, that judged. Jesus was sinless, but George Floyd was flawed by the color of his skin, but neither deserved death that day. One died for our sins, the other because of them. Racism, hatred, apathy, sins that stretch themselves around black necks and press. And even in death, they still called the cops on George. And even in death, they still called the cops on George. Still questioning his presence, still disturbed by his stillness. Even as a statue, he can't rest. Then I thought of Jesus, how even in death, he shook temples, tore veils, caused earthquakes, made leaders tremble. George still causing disturbance in parks. Still saying that we should look closer. And I looked at George, stone face, soft eyes, and I said, I'm sorry this happened to you. I'm sorry your body was broken. Your breath was stolen. Your name turned into a plea, a protest, a prayer. I'm sorry that they made you a hashtag before they saw your humanity. I'm sorry your dreams were laid to rest before they had a chance to walk. A woman walked up to me. She'd heard what I did, that I had called the cops on a statue. And I said, why is he sitting on a park bench? She said, where else? Had he been standing, he'd still be too threatening. Had he been standing, he'd still be too threatening. So we sat him down so you could look him in the eye and not over the shoulders. So you can have a conversation and not walk away. So now I say this to you. If you find yourself in Houston, Texas, at Tom Bass Park, have a conversation, have a seat, have a conversation with George Floyd. Ask him about his dreams, about justice, about mercy, about the cross that he bore by being born black. Because George Floyd is not just a statue. He's a mirror. He's a memory. He's a movement waiting for justice for all. Thank you.
Stay dripping. Leatherwood grain, I'm gripping. Fofos, they stay tipping. This for the H-Town, throw y'all H's up. Yeah, I'm so H-Town, yeah. Leatherwood grain, I'm gripping. Fofos, they stay tipping. So H-Town, yeah, I'm so H-Town. Leatherwood grain, I'm gripping. What you wanna hear, Lele?
I want to hear a
Boshes. My name is Boshes. Y'all can find me on everything. ABOSSTRESS. Thank y'all for having me.
All right. All right. All right. Let me have you. Am I on? All right. All right, guys. Y'all ready? We ready. All right. We're going to do you in a minute, babe. We ain't forgot, but they need to get started. Okay.
All right. Here we go, y'all.
All right.
1, 2, 3, 4. are the Crusaders Experience, and we are celebrating the music of the one and only jazz icons straight out of Fifth Ward, Texas, the Crusaders. And I think something's getting ready to happen right now. What's up? Okay. Oh, all right, y'all. We're going to keep it going. This is a tune called Scratch. Wait, hold on.
I'm interrupting y'all because all of you who are Trending Tuesday-ers that hang out with us every other Tuesday or what have you, you know we feed y'all for free, right? And Chef Eddie's always got that free food. Okay, today we're trying to raise a few dollars for K. Davis in the community. So Chef Eddie's food that's normally for free is with this ticket for $10. It was 15, but he's late. So we're gonna do it for 10. So he's an organic chef. Everything you eat, he's grown. The things that are there, either a salad, is a small plate, or what have you, with lamb. I think it's lamb, rice, and zucchini, what have you. Then there's a salad that's out of this world. So $10, guys, get it. We even got a little wine back there. So yeah, we do. We do it right. So. We'll throw that in. So go on and let's do that and support the chef and K. Davis in the community.
We ride at dawn, we vote, we fight. We shape the morning with our hands. We turn the ache into action, the prayers into polls, the quiet into noise, and that fear into fight. You get what you fight for because you get what you fight for. Not as a dream, but as a date on the calendar, we will mark with our feet because we vote early and on time. So y'all strap up y'all boots because my brothers and sisters, we ride at dawn. So giddy up. Let me say that one more time. I say giddy up. And I thank you.
Very, 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 very good. I have to just say this, y'all. Yeah, I mean, Letitia and I, like he said, we wrote that. We wrote that. And this young man, or what have you, I mean, to show you how determined he is, I was on my way to see Dr. Buki's performance, because she wanted me to see that play before. And I had been on the phone with him. I think I went and did shopping and also he was still holding on the phone. Because we were walking him through, because you know I direct theater, right? So I was walking him through, and we were talking about it or whatever. So that, and this young man, you know what I'm saying, when people show up, you know what I'm saying? And so we have to get these young folk, that's what we're supposed to do. But then they have to do what? Show up. See, because he could have hung up when I was shopping over in Central Market. And he was in my phone, in my purse. You know what I'm saying? But he showed up today. I mean, the phone was in my purse, he was on the phone. But he stayed on the phone. All I'm saying is when we have these young people, we talk about it, let's be about it. And you're voting, right? You see, we had him talking about voting. See, he likes poetry slam, so we put voting in his poetry. You get me? You know, till it's in his spirit. That's all. I just wanted to say that so y'all would know. Thank you, young man.